Boa noite, eu sou o Atila, eu sou orientador do EducationUSA aqui no Rio de Janeiro. Eu tenho o prazer hoje de receber representantes de um programa de MBA que fica na Califórnia, na Willamette University. Então, a gente vai ter o prazer de ouvir hoje desses representantes desse programa sobre o que esse programa tem para oferecer profissionais que estão buscando ou começar uma carreira nova ou fazer uma mudança de carreira. Eu quero lembrar a todos que o EducationUSA é a fonte oficial de informação sobre estudos nos Estados Unidos. Nós somos uma rede educacional ligada ao governo americano que temos a missão de trazer informações sobre oportunidades acadêmicas no sistema de ensino superior americano. Então, hoje vocês têm o prazer de ouvir diretamente de uma dessas instituições de ensino superior lá nos Estados Unidos. E se vocês precisam de ajuda para se candidatar para qualquer universidade nos Estados Unidos, vocês podem contar com o EducationUSA. Então, sem muito mais demorar, eu quero passar a palavra para o nosso primeiro palestrante de hoje, que é o Tony Cassinerio.
Hello. All right, is everything turned over? Okay, well, hello, everyone. Thank you for being here this evening. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Is that okay, Achilla?
Please.
Perfect. Here we go. And I'm going to go ahead and go full screen and give it just a second here. All right, can everybody see? Achilla, are we good?
Yep, we're clear.
All right, well, my name is Tony Cassinerio. I'm the Director of Recruitment for Willamette University's MBA programs, where I'm accompanied with my two assistant directors, Nathan Nagy and Marlene Nicasio, as well as one of our current students, Pedro Taveras. So we're really excited to be here. We're extremely thrilled to kind of get our name out there to people in South America. I think this could be a great destination for anybody looking at going to get their master's, especially their MBA in the United States. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about who we are, what we're here for, how we can help you. And I'm going to also allow Pedro to go ahead and talk about his experiences in the recruiting process, as well as being a current student. So I know that in South America and a lot of different countries across the world, when you guys are, you go to your undergraduate school and you major in a certain major, sometimes after that major, you decide that maybe you want to do something else. And how do you pivot in your career? And what I would tell you is that this program that I'm going to talk about today, our early career and career change MBA program, our Master's in Business Administration program, is the type of program that will allow you, no matter what industry that you've been working in, or no matter what major you have as an undergraduate student, that you can use this degree to pivot into any industry that you're looking at. And so Willamette University, kind of some of our differentiators when you compare us to other MBA programs are going to be that, one, we're the #1 ranked MBA program in the state of Oregon. There's about 5,000 MBA programs all across the world. And Willamette's probably ranked it's in the top 100. I think we're number 66 or number 68 in those top rankings by Poets of Quants, US Business World. We're also duly accredited. And so when you look at all the #1 MBA programs out there, the Harvards, Yales, Stanford of the world, they all have certain accreditations, and all of those top tier schools have what's called an AACSB for-profit accreditation, and we are also accredited by AACSB, but we also have a NASPA accreditation. That's important for any students that are looking at potentially working in industries like for not-for-profits, government agencies. So we cross-train our students for-profit and not-for-profit. So not only are we talking to you specifically about being able to pivot in different industries, this program that we offer cross-trains you so that you can, go out in the world and take a for-profit job or work for a government agency and feel ready and feel like you have the skills to be successful in both worlds. So we're located in Salem, Oregon. Salem is the state capital city of Oregon. We sit in what's called the Willamette Valley. It's a beautiful area. It's about 45 to 50 minutes south of Portland, Oregon, which is the major city, over 1 million people. Some of you may know the Portland Trail Blazers if you watch basketball. And so we're just south of that major city. And then we're just north of the University of Oregon, as well as Oregon State University. So we're surrounded by a lot of other larger universities, but we are the top MBA program in the state. And our location is really a gateway to Portland, Seattle. You get a lot of big industry near us. You have large textile industries like Adidas, Nike, Columbia Sportswear, but you also have a lot of tech industries like Intel, Hewlett Packard's located near us. So, if you're looking at, going to school in the US and you want to hit some of these larger industries, we have a lot right in our backyard. And then we also have a lot of smaller industries if you want to work for smaller firms, not for profits. If you're interested in accounting, finance, whatever it may be, there's a lot of different industry here in Oregon, and we're looking for skilled labor. And there's companies that are looking for students, international students, domestic students, you name it. So there's a lot of different opportunities. Companies that have hired Willamette students in the past. A lot of the companies I've mentioned already, Apple, Deloitte, Intel, Microsoft. There's also companies in South America that have hired our students. We've had students from South America that have gotten jobs at Questel, Inter-American Development Bank, Techco. So there's numerous industries that are open to our students. And what I try to tell interested applicants is, again, it doesn't matter if you majored in, for example, the health industry, or if you have a bachelor's degree in engineering or some science field. Everybody who comes back to get their MBA, they're doing it because at some point in your career, you want to climb the ladder further. You want to take more of a leadership or a management role. This MBA degree is going to train you to be able to do that. It's going to give you the skills so that you can be successful across many different industries. We have a world-class faculty. Our full-time faculty they all have their PhDs. Some of them have graduated from Stanford, MIT. We also have adjunct faculty that are currently working in large industries that also teach at our university. So there's a lot of experience here. There's a lot of resources at Willamette University that are trying to help our students go and get their foot in the door for an internship, trying to go get your foot in the door to help you get a job when you're done. So we'll talk a little bit about CPT, curricular practical training, and ocular practical training, or OPT here, as well as our application process. But what I really want to touch base on is that we've got a world-class faculty. We get students from all across the globe that come here, and we have resources to help you go get the jobs that you're looking for. Some of the courses that we teach in this program, we consider those, or we call those experiential learning courses or consequential learning courses. And those courses are designed to give you experience. So even if you're coming from an industry where you have no background in business, you're going to be able to take courses here that will give you experience. So we have, just as an example, our practical applications for careers in enterprise class. It's called PACE. That's a class that will train you in the world of not-for-profits, as well as give you skills in resume building. Our career management team is actually built into that coursework, where you're doing mock interviews. You get to go on treks where we take you to different industries and different employers. So it's kind of a unique only experience to students who come to Willamette. This PACE course is designed to kind of get your foot in the door to the professional world by utilizing our career management team, as well as obviously having class assignments. And then you actually work on a project for a company for about 6 months while you're in this course. So that's a year-long course, unique to Willamette. And there's other experiential learning courses that we offer, like our O'Neill Investment Fund course, as well as our Angel Fund class. And those courses are designed where they actually deal with real money. So our Angel Fund, there's about $150,000. We fly our students to Portland from Portland to Seattle, to LA, to different areas in the country where you're actually doing investments in smaller startup firms. And our O'Neill Investment Fund class, again, $150,000 real money. You're investing in stock portfolios. These are just some of the experiential learning or consequential learning courses that we offer that, again, you could major in industrial engineering like Pedro Tavares did, and we'll talk about that here shortly, but where he's coming in with not these traditional business courses, but you can take these experiential, consequential learning courses, and you can put on your resume what you've done in them, and you can show experience as you're talking to employers. And you don't get that at most MBA programs. Most MBA programs are designed at the executive level, and we have an executive MBA. It's called our MBA for Professionals, and that's more designed for people that are in the industry working. They have full-time jobs. They're trying to climb the ladder in the company that they're at. This is a different model. This is really designed to give you experience, to kind of make that career change, if you will. But also, if you do have an industry in mind where you have some experience, it's going to really sharpen those skills, give you some new skills to go and be successful in that industry. And our dedicated career management team is going to be here with you from the beginning. And so I wanted to talk a little bit more about some options for you to explore within the program. So I know it's important for a lot of international students to get a program that has a STEM designation. They want to go to a STEM designation school so that they can get as much OPT as possible. And Willamette University's MBA program is partnered with our Master's in Data Science program to be able to offer that STEM designation so that students can have that 3 years of OPT, so that you can still go get your CPT internship on top of the 3 years. And so we have that. And then Willamette is also currently working on trying to get our own STEM designation, where for students that are not interested in combining the MBA and MSDS, that's work in progress as well. So a lot of exciting things going on right now. But I just wanted to kind of point out that we do have some options. We do have the STEM designation with our joint program, and you do not have to apply to both programs. When you apply, you can apply to the MBA, and you can apply to the data science to add the STEM designation in your first year while you're here. And you can meet up with all of our data science professors, and we can show you how to do that. The other things that we offer are going to be concentrations. I know a lot of students are interested in, hey, I'm trying to pivot. I think I want to get into a different industry. Do you have a concentration so I can, really dive into whether it's human resources, global management, operations, whatever it may be? And the fact is, yes, we do have these concentrations. The way we operate is in our curriculum, in your first year in the program, you're really going to take the core MBA courses that you would normally take at most traditional MBA programs: accounting, finance, marketing, all the data analytics, all your basic kind of MBA programs that are out there. The difference is in our program is that you take those in your first year. So you figure out, what are you really talented in? What are you most interested in? And then in your second year, you dive down the rabbit hole of the concentration that you're interested in. You can pair that with a master's in data science. If you want that STEM designation, you can just get a data science certificate. You can really dive down the rabbit hole to finance, marketing, whatever it may be. So you can do that with us. Some schools will rubber stamp your transcript with a concentration, and you kind of get locked in, meaning you don't get to take all the courses you want because you have to finish your concentration. And it's different here at Willamette. We allow you to take a lot of different electives in that second year. The majority of, in fact, almost all of your classes are electives in your second year, minus 2 required courses, and that's public policy and strategic management. And so that really frees you up to take as many classes that you're interested in. It could be finance and marketing, data science, and human resources, whatever it may be, so that you can feel that you have the skills you need to go pivot in the industry that you're looking to get into. So I put this screen up here just so you can kind of see those concentrations. Not that you need to memorize the curriculum. We're happy to send this information out to anybody, but I wanted to point out that this curriculum, the way we do it in our program, is different than your traditional MBAs, because we're designed to give you experience so that you can go compete against people in the industry. We have a lot of young students in our program. We have students that, again, have pivoted from different industries, but what we do is put them in a position to go compete against people that have been in the industry for 5, 10 or more years. And with the way we do that is with our curriculum, the way it's set up. So joining Willamette University and the community that we have here. So why choose Willamette? Why would a student want to come to Willamette versus going to a Harvard or Yale or Stanford, or maybe a larger state school, University of Oregon, USC? We believe it's because of the personal service that we provide students. We talked about our career management team being here for you guys. They're built into your coursework. They're going to help you find an internship. They're going to help you find OPT jobs. We're going to be here every step of the way to help you through the application process. You're going to have resources here on campus to help you with your schoolwork. You're also going to have the career management team. Our location is a fantastic place to be. Being located near Portland and Seattle and San Francisco opens the doors to a lot of different industries. We're a hop, skip, and a jump away from a lot of larger firms, but there's a lot of smaller firms here as well. So lots of different places to explore. Not just, while you're here in school looking for the type of industry you want to work in, but also enjoying your time here. We're located in the Pacific Northwest. If you've never been here, it's a beautiful place. Our actual campus looks like it's right out of a storybook. We have a creek that runs through campus in the shape of a W. A lot of brick buildings. It looks like an Ivy League type school. It's got the Ivy League type feel. It's a smaller university, but we're an hour and 15 minutes from the coast. We're an hour and a half from the mountains, whether it's skiing, surfing, hiking, biking, a lot of different things that you can do here, which also means there's a lot of activities where you can network. And when you go to an MBA program, we're constantly trying to tell our students, go meet as many people as possible. Sometimes that's in a professional setting, and sometimes it's in a more relaxed setting. And I believe our location allows students to do that in multiple ways. The other reason is our faculty. We have a world-class faculty from all over the US and the world. We have faculty that are here ready to support our students. They're very motivated. They're not just driven to do research. Our faculty are in the classroom. They're also doing a lot of consulting work with big companies, which means there's a lot of connections. So when you get to the point where you're looking for internships, you're looking for jobs, you want to get to know our faculty. And being at a small school like Willamette, you have no choice but to get to know them, because they're going to know you by first name. And that means they're going to pick up the phone. They're going to write you letters of recommendation, all the things that really matter when you're trying to get your foot in the door with an industry. That's what our faculty is going to do for you. And then the campus life, like I mentioned before, our location is great, which means there's a lot to do on campus. There's a lot of things to do off campus. If you've never been to an American football game, or you've never been to an NBA stadium, I mean, there's just so many things to explore here. The outdoors in Oregon is beautiful. And so it gives students a chance to really, if you've never ventured to the Pacific Northwest, there's so much to do, and there's so much to see. And you're so close to a lot of really neat destinations here, like San Francisco, Seattle, all LA. There's a lot of close by things that I think our students that come here are really interested in seeing. Application process. I didn't want to kind of get in the weeds too much yet with the application, other than to say is that our application process is free. We work really hard as an admissions team to help our students to not let the application process be a barrier for you. We want to help you every step of the way. There's no charge to apply. There's no minimum test score standard that we look for. We do ask students to take a standardized test, either the GRE or GMAT. We oftentimes can pay for part of the price of those exams. And the only reason why we do it is to help you financially. A lot of international students are looking for as much funding as possible. And most schools that do not offer the GRE or GMAT, they're kind of handicapped with how much funding they can give you. And by allowing students to take the exam, we don't look at the exam for an admissions reasons. We look at it to try to see if we can help you with funding. So the better you score, the more funding we give you. It justifies it through our accreditation, but there's no minimum score. So if you had a bad night, you didn't study well, you took the exam, we also offer conditional admittance prior to you taking the exam, which means whatever scholarship we initially offer you prior to you taking the exam, you get to keep that no matter what if you did really bad on the entrance exam. But if you do really well, then we can tack on to your scholarship. You will never lose money, but you could always gain money, which is usually a big thing. Not just international students, but domestic students as well. So everybody kind of likes that. Even though you have to take the exam, it actually really helps students out. And then the last thing I wanted to kind of say with the application process is that 100% of our students are able to get some sort of scholarship money from us. So everybody who applies and gets admitted will receive some sort of scholarship. So when international students ask me, does that apply to international? Absolutely. So if you apply, you're admitted, we're going to offer you some sort of scholarship. Would love to get into more of the process for the application here at the end if there's more questions, but what I really wanted to do was hand this over to our current student, Pedro Tavares, because Pedro came to us from the Dominican Republic, and he can talk to you about his experience, how he kind of heard about Willamette, you know, how he went through the application process, the visa process, and then I would love for anyone who has questions for him at the end of his talk to go ahead and ask. But Pedro, I'm going to give you a chance here to go ahead and take over.
Perfect. Like Cass said, I'm Pedro Tavares. I come from the Dominican Republic. I just finished my first year at Willamette's Early Career and Career Change MBA, and I loved it. So I'm going to give you my story, talk to you about my process, my experiences, and the decisions that led me here. First, I came to America because of its quality of education. In my undergrad, most of my professors had an undergraduate degree. Some had masters, but I believe only 2 out of the whole lot of professors that I saw in my 4 years had PhDs. Of course, they knew what they were talking about, but they weren't leaders or experts in the field. Additionally, at least in my country, employers and people generally value more a degree from a foreign country since they know the current level of education, the crisis that we're on right now. So I think that this will open a lot of doors when I come back to my country, if not all, let's say. What's more, since English is the language of business, at least in my opinion, and the United States dollar has so much power, I believe that the US would be the best location for me to study business. Okay, so why the MBA? I chose the MBA for personal reasons. I am going to own a business in the future, and I wanted to prepare myself for it, but I believe that this can be valuable for almost everyone because of the business knowledge, the tools, the connections that you build. First, business knowledge. If you understand how businesses operate, I believe that you can do your job better by prioritizing, making efforts that would impact the most the business that you're in. And with that knowledge, you get a lot of tools. I really like finance. So I'm just going to say that by understanding a company's financials, you can know their strengths, weaknesses, and what they can improve on the future. Finally, a lot of people value a lot the MBA title. Just by saying that you're an MBA student, you could arrange meetings with almost everyone. I met with Nike's ex-CIO and a lot of people in high places. So having these letters will help you create powerful connections in the future. Lastly, why Willamette's Early Career and Career Change MBA? Not gonna lie, there are a lot of options out there, too many, at least for me. It was overwhelming looking at schools in different countries. But like I said, I'm glad to say I am in a really nice place. I chose Willamette for 2 main reasons. First, it had a really good standing and high ranking on multiple sources. And it had the early career and career change program, which was exactly what I needed. Where I am from, like I mentioned, people stick with their undergraduate degrees and only consider doing a master's after years of working in a job they might hate because of the way that it's structured right now. But with Willamette, you don't have to wait. If you want to pivot or need the knowledge on how to be a manager, you can enroll into a program and you are educated from the ground up without any experience or business knowledge required. Of course, there are a million other things that make this university special, like its experiential classes, like Cass said, like PACE, in which I had the opportunity to improve the operations of a educational nonprofit in Guatemala for 6 months. It was awesome. Angel investing, which I'm doing next semester, in which you negotiate deals with real money, kind of like Shark Tank, super exciting. The university also has great professors, which are truly experts with a lot of publications, many years of experience, and who have taught at schools like Wharton, which is top 1 or top 2. Finally, with the help of career services, even though I am an international student and the job market isn't doing so well right now, I was able to secure a summer internship that starts next Monday. So I haven't regretted my choice. In fact, I'm really happy about it. And I think everyone should apply. Your English doesn't need to be perfect. The workload is manageable. I believe, like Cass said, everyone gets some kind of financial aid or scholarship, and you don't have to worry too much about your scores. I did really bad the first time around, and then I took it again, more relaxed, and yeah, it was good. I think that's it. And if you have any questions, I could leave my email or contact, and I would be happy to respond to anything.
Yeah, Pedro, I really appreciate that. And I just wanted to point out one more time that Pedro majored in industrial engineering in his country for undergraduate degree. And so again, you know, does not matter what your major is, what your background experience is. I mean, if you really feel like you want to pivot, or there's you think the MBA can help you, I can assure you that this program can help teach you those management skills, any industry that you're looking at. So we're really open to any questions that you may have. Nate, Marley, if there's anything that we had missed or things that you want to mention, I can always go back and talk more about the application process, but we'll kind of open it up here for you all.
Hello, Tony. Here's Felipe. Nice
Hey.
to meet you. I really appreciate for you and Pedro for talking a little bit about Willamette. And I'm in this crazy process of study for the GMAT, and I'm obsessed to get the 700 score. That is like the magic score to apply for those very traditional schools of the US. But at the same time, I'm considering a lot of different schools. And one of my points, and I don't know if you can share this information with me, I know that many students that go for some schools, they sometimes they can get a kind of definitive position in US. Maybe they get a nice job offer in the company that kind of sponsor them to continue working in US. Regarding the Willamette School students, do you have any kind of statistics regarding that for the students that they came from abroad, and how many of them, of course, not all of them want to stay in US, maybe so they have to go to different place or return to their home country, their homeland, but at the same time, do you have any kind of statistics regarding that?
Yeah, we got, what we do is try to compile statistics by our classes each year. I can go ahead, Felipe, if you provide me your email address, do some homework on just international statistics. But what I want to put here is our employment report. So is it okay if I put this in the chat there, Achilla, link to our employment report? So
sure, yeah.
If everybody can kind of see this, it's a link to our employment report. And actually what I'm going to do while we're at it is let's put a link to our, we have an internship report. And obviously this year's internships and this year's employment hasn't come out yet, right? But this would be like more of like last year's internship and employment report. So I'm going to put these both out there for you guys, just so you can kind of see. And what I would tell you is we get students, you know, that ask those, and those are great questions, Felipe. You know, do we have a placement service? How do we know exactly, you know, what job I'm going to get? And the difference with us with some of these schools is that we don't push or force students to go to a certain industry. And I know that that's kind of like one of those ambiguous things, because it's like, well, how do I know if I'm going to get a job? Well, the reality is that most students don't know exactly what they're really going to be passionate about until they get here and they start taking the coursework. And this is what I was talking about, where a lot of schools will kind of, I don't want to call it pigeonhole, but they'll really put students in a box and they'll say, yeah, we'll place you in this industry at this company. And again, like what Pedro says, is that all sounds good until you get there and you realize, wait a minute, I don't want that job. You know, I got it, but this isn't what I wanted to do. And so we've taken a completely different approach to this. We really want students to pursue their passion. So we get students that, I mean, I'm thinking back to just a couple of years ago, we had a student from India who got here, and she was kind of in that same boat where she really wanted to be placed, but then she didn't know where she wanted to go. Well, now she's working for Amazon. And so it's one of those where, and her name is Pooja, and I can give you, her information as well. But just one example. I mean, we have a lot of students working at a lot of different places because they all have different interests. And so Willamette's really all about taking that more holistic approach with students and saying, we're not going to put you in a box. If you, like Pedro, if your passion is finance, let's start looking for things in that world and get your foot in the door. But if your passion is marketing, then why would we put you, in this other box over here for finance? And that's where we're going to be different. And although I can't assure you a placement at a certain company, what I can assure you is, and this is the same for domestic students that we tell them the same thing, is that once you come here and you start taking these courses and you figure out what that destination looks like for you and you see the light at the end of the tunnel, then it's all hands on deck, where now we really start to go to work for you. Let's introduce you to alums in that area. Let's do some networking for different firms in that area. Let's start to reach out. That's where Willamette goes to work. So some schools do it different. They partner with industries and then they really steer students in those directions. We do it the opposite. We partner with the student and then we say, you tell us where your passion is. And then once you're ready to shine, we're going to go showcase you to the world and get you that foot in the door at that industry that you're interested in. It's a different approach. We do have statistics on where students are working and what they're doing, but we really let the students in the driver's seat, and then we start to take, those kind of basically, how do I go ahead and reach out to this person, like Pedro was saying over there at Nike? How do you meet people like that? That's where we take the driver's seat, is let's get you in front of some of these people. Let's start getting your name out there. Let's help you build a brand awareness versus just placing you in an industry. And I would say that's what makes us different, Felipe. And hopefully that kind of answers that. And I will dig more into specific companies, specifically where international students go. But even when I send that, you're going to find it's a broad range of places, right? Because not everybody's interested in finance or marketing. Some people have passions for not-for-profits. Some people have passions for really project management type positions. It just really depends what you want to do. And do you have an idea, Felipe, of what you want to do?
Yes, actually, another question I have for you is like, I just heard Pedro that he was talking about his history. He looks very young. I think he's probably I don't think he's 30 already. He looked like a 25 years old guy, or maybe he's younger than that. Yeah. And I'm in a different situation. I'm already an experienced professional. I'm 36 years old. I'm for a few years already working in leadership positions. So of course, it brings a whole different, let's say, a different view regarding, because what he was explaining for me is that he probably have never been in a management position, a leadership position, and Willamette is providing this experience for him. I'm in a different situation, as of course I have been in some few situations of leadership, but of course you cannot, let's say, explore all the broad or the range of different leadership positions that exist in the world. But anyway, as I heard from other people and some friends that they have a complete MBA in other schools, that it really changed like it brings a lot of experience for you and change the way that you let's say you deal with things, the way that you think, So like I would like to understand
are there certain companies or areas in industry that you're targeting right now that you really want to be in?
And actually, I'm not sure, I don't have a target in a specific industry, but anyway, right now I came from the oil and gas industry as an engineer. I'm a mechanical engineer. And I have been working there for a couple of years. Now I tend to steel make industry. So it's a kind of more related with raw material to produce. Anyway, I always have been an industry guy, but it doesn't mean that I just want to keep doing that. I like what I do. By now, I work basically with leadership and more general, let's say, it's more kind of general work. When I started, it was more the kind of specific doing calculus and doing the design of equipment. But right now, it's more related with management. So do all the things that most of the companies do. Of course, you change a little bit one thing or another, but the most of the practices that I apply at my work, people do at pharmacy and wherever, any kind of industry that you can imagine. They use those traditional MBA books. Anyway, so I would like to understand about if, for example, for my profile, the kind of thing that I'm looking, maybe it would be a good fit for Willamette.
Oh yeah, you would definitely be a great fit. We get people from as young as Pedro all the way up into their 40s, because we're early career. So for people like Pedro, but then also career change, and then for international students that are coming over, for example, we get students from Saudi Arabia that have been working in the oil industry, or students that are in the aerotech industry. And they've been working for a number of years, but it's kind of like your situation where you've been in some leadership roles, you've been in some management, you've been in charge of people. How do you take it to the next level? But it's also still doing that exploration. Is there an industry out there that you really have a passion for? You've kind of worked in a couple different spots, but it may not be your end all goal. And what this program will do is give you some exploration to find an industry that maybe you do have more of a passion that you haven't had a chance to explore. So on top of gaining those skills, those kind of executive skills that the traditional program gives students, which is what you're going to get. We front load a lot of those skills in your first year and then fine tune the areas of interest in your second year. So we really, the strategic management course in your second year is really going to help you kind of, fine tune that kind of management skills when you're thinking strategically. But all those other courses are going to give you an idea, well, what can I do with some of these different skills in a different industry or within the industry that I'm using right now to climb the ladder with this degree? What kind of return on investment am I going to get with a degree from Willamette? And I can assure you, you're going to have lots of opportunities out there. You're going to have people in this program that are in your situation, both domestic students as well as international students, older and younger, that are going to have similar, some are going to have way different experiences, but the work and the course load that you do in this program is preparing you to go take that next move, okay? And some of the experiences you're going to learn in these courses that you take, you will, believe it or not, even be able to combine it with the experience that you have, those management skills that you've already kind of learned on the job, to go apply it in a different realm with a different company. And our goal is to get your foot in the door in whatever that industry is. And so that's where we go to work. We don't do it at the beginning. We don't tell you this is where we're going to send you. We basically we're going to have you explore, and then we're going to go to work for you on that and try to get your foot in the door. Once you kind of say, I want to go check these kind of places out. I want to go meet somebody, because believe it or not, we're always all still learning. And the minute we think we know it all, it's like, that's when you're trapped, right? You want to keep yourself open. You want to be able to say, what else is out there, that I don't know of? What other opportunities are there? And a lot of times you get that through the networking that we help provide students, through the opportunities with treks, through the opportunities by meeting the different people that are going to be in your cohort. There's just a lot of opportunities we provide students to go find that next step.
Can I chime in real quick, Tom?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
And I'll also say too, I think this is the type of conversations that you're able to have face-to-face with people as soon as you get here. When we talk about the support system and the wraparound services that we give our students, we're a little bit different than a lot of the bigger universities. When you talk about things like placement, and that could end up being good, or you talk about looking at bigger universities, that's all transactional stuff. We're in the relationship business. And so like Tony mentioned, what you're going to have here are people who are going to be able to have those conversations with you to get you to where you want to go, and you're going to have that support. And so it's okay if you don't quite have it figured out. That's why we're here. But with the way that we work at a smaller university, I mean, Pedro has my cell number, and we connected on WhatsApp, and I met his parents when he arrived and his whole family, and we got him situated in his apartment, and I know what he wants to do when he's finished. And you know, I know why he's here. And that's a big part of why our students feel supported and why they're successful. And so the exposure to the things that you're going to get in America, I think is another big bonus where, and Tony talked about this, you might go on a field trip up to Nike and leave saying, that was great, I made a great connection up there, I want to do that. Well, the exposure to those things, I think, is really important. And our goal here is to give our students as much exposure to things they didn't know about before they arrived. And so I just wanted to throw that in because this is a typical conversation on day one that all of our students have, but they're able to have it with real people. It's not via email. It's not transactional here. It's relationship based with the way that we work with our students.
Thank you very much. I have another question. Sorry, I think that will be my last one. Regarding the application for Willamette, how it works, because I know that some other schools, they have those periods of application. So they have like the round 1, round 2, and round 3, and usually the round 1 is about September, and then you have the round 2 about the beginning of January, and usually I think the round 3 is about, I think it's about March. How it works for Willamette, if I want to apply for an example?
Yeah, so I'm going to put this in the chat as well, a link to our application requirements. And the way it works, we're really upfront with students. We do have our May 1st deadline is it's kind of an arbitrary deadline for us. And then we ask, to get as many applications in by May 1st as possible. But then we know with international students, especially, that we have a rolling deadline that will go all through the summer. And it really comes down to how fast do you want to get this done? Because our application, there's not a lot of barriers. We don't have round 2, round 3. We have early actions that we try to support students to get things done because they need to get it done on their timeline because of visa requirements and everything. And what I tell students is, the sooner you can get your application in, if you got it all done by tomorrow, you would have a decision by early next week. That's how fast we move on our end. So we really just need students to apply online, submit their transcripts to us. We can use unofficial transcripts to get a decision back, upload your resume. Once we have you kind of start the application, fill out your biographics, demographics, upload a resume, then we can schedule you an interview. And our interview, it's like 15 or 20 minutes over Zoom, and it's more conversational like this. We're trying to get to know students. What are your goals? What have you done? What are you looking to do? How can we help you? It's not like an interview for a job. It's much more, how can we help you? And then we take all that information and we try to put the best financial package together for students if we're going to admit them. And then we get that admittance back within a week to a week and a half. That's our goal. So we do it a little different. We're much more holistic. We move very quickly because we're a smaller institution. But that plays well for students because you get a lot of personal attention and we walk you through the process. And just so everyone knows, I'm going to put this in the chat. We all use WhatsApp. So if you guys use WhatsApp, I'm putting my number in here. This is my cell number. We all do this. We are able to, in real time, you can text us, you can call us, you can email us by WhatsApp. I text with international students all the time. So if you start working on the application, you have a question, we would love to answer those questions and get you going. So my basic point is we don't want the application to be a barrier for students. We want to help you through the process so that you can concentrate on your visa process, because that's usually the process that is, it's out of our control, it's out of your control. It's kind of like you got to get the paperwork going, and then you've got to meet with the consulate, and you've got to do all those things. So we want to make our process the easy part for you. Hopefully that answers that question.
Yes, it does. Thank you again, Tony. Thank you. I'm not opening my camera because I'm already using my homeless clothes because I'm about to sleep very soon. But
No
anyway,
worries.
I really appreciate you, and Nate, you are very kind. I think all the idea that you are giving for us about your university, it sounds really good. And of course, and like I said, that was my last question, but okay, let's do this one more question. I heard something regarding, for example, if I apply for the GMAT, if I have a score, for example, can I present for you? Does it count? I don't know.
If you took, say that one more time. If you took,
For example, you have the GMAT to apply for the other schools. Like, if I have, for example, I'm studying a lot of time, and I'll take the GMAT because I don't want to think that I have wasted my time, for example, and I'm about to take the test, for example. And can I present the score for you, especially if it's a good score? Does it count?
Yeah, absolutely. If you've taken the GMAT already and you have a score, or you're about to take it, yeah, that score would work for us as well.
Great. That sounds great.
Yeah, and then just so everybody else knows too, is that we accept the GRE or the GMAT, and we can actually, if you decide, like if you're not in Philippe's position, but you are you haven't taken an exam, we can pay for half of the exam for the GRE. So we do have some ways to cut down costs as well. But yeah, if you've already taken the test or you're about to take it, those scores will absolutely work for us. And then the same thing goes with the English language proficiency. We do ask that everyone take an English language proficiency exam, but we will pay for, like, for example, we can pay for you to take the Duolingo online exam. It's like $48 US, and I can provide you a waiver code for that. So these are all things that we can talk about, and we can provide you guys this information. And we hope that this is not the end of the conversation. If you're remotely interested, you like what you hear, you want to explore more, we want you to stay in contact with us. So let me, one more time, I put my WhatsApp number, I'm going to put my email as well. And I know that Achilla is probably going to get the word out again with all our contact information, but we really want to stay in touch with you guys. We can move as quickly as you want to move. We can schedule your interviews very quickly. So, you know, we hope that you've gotten that from us, that, hey, if I want to apply, can I? And the answer is yes. Are there scholarships out there? Yes. If you've taken the test already, will we accept it? Yes. If you need some help funding for some of those tests, we have some help. So by all means, you know, don't let this be the last conversation if you're interested.
Yeah, Valentina.
Thank you very much, you both again, Nate and Tony.
Yeah.
You betcha.
Yeah, and Valentina and Pedro, do you guys have any questions for us?
And it's okay if you don't. Yeah, that's totally fine. This will go out in a recording, and if there's questions you just want to hit us up with, then by all means, please reach out. And Achilla, we really appreciate the time that everybody had tonight. By all means, we're not kicking anyone out. If there is a question, let us know. But this was great for us. We would love to expand down into South America. There's a lot of fantastic students down there looking for opportunities, and we want to be a door of opportunity, whether you choose to walk through that door or not. We want to be one of those doors that you open and take a look at and explore. And we think we have a fantastic product, great people, lots of support. So keep us in mind as you are looking at different graduate schools.
Thank you so much, Tony. I think I definitely want to say, I often receive students looking to start a new career, or looking to get back into school so they can pivot to a different opportunity. So I'm sure this will be really helpful for students watching this on YouTube as well. Thank you so much for the time, everyone, today, for sharing this information, and definitely count on Education USA. I also don't want to rush anyone out, but I do want to take this chance to remind everyone watching now in English, Education USA is the official source of information on studies in the US. So if you have any questions about how to apply to this program, definitely reach out to Education USA. And yeah, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Attila. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.